through my pure awareness, the awareness of soul consciousness, awareness of everyone's the awareness of everyone's eternal and original state of mind, pure, peaceful, loveful, incorporeal, egoless, adviceless, thinking, words, actions, pure and loving, creating these vibrations, an attitude towards all the souls. And through the third eye, give them drishti, so that everything negative and violent changes into positive, loving, caring for everyone. I take drishti from Baba, but also through the thoughts and the third eye, spread the vibrations of pure love, care, feelings of sharing with everyone. And let Baba give everyone experience of their inheritance of peace, love, and happiness.
Om Shanti, welcome to Avyakti Parivar. Today is day 17, Soul Consciousness. A drop of awareness 5 times a day. Speak sweetly and softly. Cook, offer, and eat bhog in remembrance of Baba. Now we'll be listening to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. When we look at Brahma, look at Avek Dada, take drishti. Of course, he is highest on high, but his carefree drishti and beautiful smile is constant source of hope, courage, enthusiasm, and also makes us carefree. So that is why taking drishti from Avek Dada really makes us feel very light and happy. We had been talking about This create the stage of being Nyara and Pyara. And for that, we use the symbol of lotus throne. Baba gave that example. So we had been sharing about soul consciousness, relationship with one's own body, soul conscious relationship with others, seeing them as brothers, as one family. But today we will start with uh, relationship with other resources, all connected with body. And everything provided by nature. Nature is 5 elements, then is matter. And from nature, we create material things. So no one, these days, no, Baba says in Murli that even they have divided ocean and the water and the land, which really doesn't belong to anyone, right? But boundaries, territories, even blocking the water for each other. This river is part of this territory. And so all that divisions have been created. But it really, ownership is not theirs. If it doesn't rain, water will dry. There are some rivers, there is no water in it. Or when natural calamities happen because of the climate change, environment, pollutions, all that what we have created. So there are 3 things, body, wealth, and the grains or any kind of food. They call it tan, dhan, and an. An means all food. It could be fruits also, with anything which sustains the body. All the elements first are, they sustain the body. Fire, water, earth. If there was no gravity force, I can't stand, right? Sunlight. You can have as much whatever you want to heat, but as soon as the heat of the sun comes, it really makes difference. Light from the sun. So all these elements sustain the body. That is why it becomes our responsibility to keep it clean. I won't go in details of that, but at least personally, I shouldn't do anything which pollutes it more. But then everything material is from the nature. Mm. Okay, when it comes to wealth, these days we say, talk about gold. You all know the source of gold. Still, some of the islands and some of the countries in Africa, many places where they still have not commercialized everything. The sand from the ocean has what they call it dust of gold. There are still mines from where the stones, which they make them into diamonds. But I was thinking even very valuable pearls, they come from oyster. There is nothing which human being has created, but have taken out of nature. Yeah, they refine it. I went to South Africa and they took me to a town where there is so much gold there from the mines of gold. So everything is really coming from nature. And originally, the currency was gold currency. You always hear about the coins, right? And even paper currency was printed equivalent to what the gold any government had. There was a time, but now they could print trillions of dollars. And that's why it is really doesn't have much value or devaluation happens. So whether it is any metallic like silver, then copper, then iron, then steel is still created. All these metals are really from elements, right? Now, when we do, some of you have seen in India, when we do ceremony for the foundation of a new building, then they have two trays with little containers. One tray has all five metals: gold, silver, copper, iron. So they put little gold, little silver. Then in one they have all grains, rice, and different kinds of dals, beans, but also they have some whole, what they call it, coriander seeds, all different kinds of food things. Even from sugar cane, they make sugar. So they make jagir, what they call it, gur, brown sugar. So they put every little thing in that land. So someone was saying, well, what is the use? I said, because there was a time where people realized that I got everything from the nature and I have to give back. Mm. So they will put everything in the deep down within so that mm, we offered. Mm. There was a time in temples, even now in some temples, they offer gold ornaments and also they have big bargain on also offering on diamonds, and now they put rupees but not before. So this realization that okay, one is working hard, and these days whole thing about investing and putting gold, and people have so much accumulation, some, but also okay, one can spend whole life in accumulating and thinking maybe it's my name, my it becomes like a greed, and also you are famous, right? Rich one. But when soul leaves body, That's why for some it's so difficult to leave body, because when they think they have to leave everything. But what then? What do they brought that they will take? No. So they always compare wealth with Lakshmi, with Maya, and the dust. Why they say dust? Because it came from earth. Lakshmi, because it's something divine, it's fortune, and of course takes care of the life. No? Maya, because it becomes great. Some call it dust, dirt, in the sense it's from the earth. It will go back there. No, Baba says in the end, everything will become part of the dust. So, it's the energy. How do I look at wealth? Mm. After belonging to Baba, mm, of course, there is no greed, but even whatever is there, mm, I respect that, but not become greedy, right? Respect it and become trustee for it. So, just to understand the concept of wealth, so even body, parents cannot decide which kind of features they want for child. They can decide about the career of the child, but not what kind of features or face the child will have or characteristics. They don't have any right, even they feel it. And then when soul enters, soul doesn't really belong to them, brings one's own part. So even they keep forcing children to do certain things, but every child comes with one's own sanskars. So really, human being doesn't have, right on anything, but attachment, I and mine, and the greed because of body consciousness. So it's complete new perspective in soul consciousness, valuing, respecting, properly using everything, but free from greed and attachment. Because in attachment and greed, the karmas which people do are very deceiving. Out of greed, people will do such wrong things. It's such a big trap there. So when Baba comes, Baba says, children become trustee. Make effort. It's not you have to be lazy and say, no, I'm not going to earn. But really 100% of it belongs to Baba. So we will go more details into karmas with wealth, but today we are talking about the third body, tan, dhan, and we're talking about an. An is all food grains, whether it's beans or whether any kind of uh, products from the nature. You can, okay, make effort, sow the seed. Suppose if there is not enough rain, or enough sun at that time. So produce is really from the nature. So from very beginning, first is if the wealth is free from attachment and greed, and from that money, when we buy food, any kind of produce or products, because for God, it's a very popular phrase in India. They call it Annadata. And they also say that everyone, there is a saying that name is written on every grain. Sometimes we cook something for someone, and someone else gets to eat because his name was written on the grain. दाने दाने पे लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम. It's a proverb in India that on every grain the name is written who will get it. And actually, nature will produce as many lives are there, human beings or animals or birds, for whole creation, something or other. It is the human greed that everyone doesn't get enough. So sufferings are there, poverty is there. Otherwise, it shouldn't be. So now, whenever I have uh, bought something or get something, we say it's money, Baba's Bandara. So the money is called Bandara, then kitchen is also called Bandara. That means food stock and cooking, everything, Bandara. Mhm. You know that in Yagya, from very beginning, we always used to say there are two dadis. Uh, Dadi Prakashmani, all administration, taking care of Baba's children, and Bholi Dadi. And two of them will meet every morning before class and decide what will be cooked, what will be Brahma bhojan for everyone. So everyone used to say that without Bholi Dadi, if you don't get cooked food, how will you manage? So both for us were very important. Bholi Dadi was lovely. Anytime you go to her, what you want, what can I make for you? Anyone who liked anything, she will make it for us. And then she has a big team. And until now, some of them were with Bholi Dadi, still cook very well. So we don't have to be hermit. Mm. Yes, we are renunciate, but it's both ways, no? You heard stories about Baba gave sometimes very simple food, limited uh, in the sense of eat as much body requires, not by taste, but also because it has to be offered to Baba. Mm. So it be cooked in a very proper way. Mm. Pot should be clean. Once we had shown you all how to wash vegetables. Cook it with pure feelings of love. Purity, bhavana, and love. Pure feelings of love. It should be with pure feelings, but also with love, not just for sake of cooking. And you are cooking for Baba. And of course, we Baba's children will eat from Bandara. But first thought is I have to offer to Baba. So this whole thought of offering to Baba is, so when we cooking, there is remembrance of Baba. We are cooking for Baba. We have to offer to Baba. You have seen when Avyak Bab Dada comes before leaving, they feed Baba. When the groups come from different states, every state they bring different kinds of fruits, vegetables. So sometimes they have different kind of mangoes, different, and they all want to offer to Baba. So little pieces, make very small pieces of mangoes and different fruits. So one trays of fruits, one of tholi sweets, one of food. So there are two things. One is the vibrations of the food. Other is quality of food. These days, of course, there are a lot of uh, immune system problems people have, so they think about different. But for us, the most healthy food is simple. We make some rice, we make some beans, vegetable, and some chapati. Combination of all has actually all nutrition. Many doctors say most balanced food is Indian food because protein is in your beans or dal, carbohydrate is your rice, vegetable have whatever other requirements, and then chapati with that. So you cannot make maybe all four things, but this is what really, when we have big family, we are 8, 10 of us, or then we make everything. In Madhuban, they cook all three times: breakfast, lunch, dinner. But generally, here in these parts of the world, we only cook once proper meal. Dinner is light, breakfast is light, lunch is full. So it's healthy. And main thing is cooked every day because we have to offer to Baba. So the purity, bhavana and love and remembrance of Baba makes it sattvic food. Because pure food is vegetarian, but remembrance of Baba makes it sattvic. So respecting whatever is given to the body with deep feelings of gratitude. People say, thanks God. I also thanks inside the nature also, elements. Because whole interplay is between soul, nature, and God. God also depends, when he has to come, depends on the body, right? Nature. Very closely connected. So each one of us have to see, I, soul, child of the God, and using the matter, nature. So there cannot be any ego or possessions because they really don't belong to me. They're not mine. And as I said, we are fortunate ones to earn enough. So internally, we become more trusty. Mhm. Last week I was noticing that Baba's Bhandara, Baba keeps making it full. I don't have any thought even of, uh, I said, no, let everywhere, everyone, whatever way they want to create their fortune is fine. Mm. Because it's Baba's Bhandara, no? But when there was little bit even, oh, I am responsible, I have to take care, all that, there were some extra thoughts then. But when one realizes that it's Baba's, no? So it will be unlimited. Only I have to increase my capacity to be a good trustee. Like Dadi Janki was one of the example of, that's where her simplicity came. She loved to give toli, and uh, always she will uh, put in Baba's Bhandara from London for Madhuban, for Brahma Bhojan, when Brahma, the day Baba comes, which I also have feelings always to do. Because Brahma Bhojan for all the Brahmins. Even these days, even if we are not there, they have they have to cook for 5,000 people in Shantivan, 5,000. One day they were telling me of all hospital, Pandabhavan, Gyan Sarovar, Sevadharis and Nivasis. So they cook for 5,000. So they get vegetables, fruits, and so Baba's Bandara, both Bandaras, from one Bandara of money to Bandara of food. So one of the important omens are called omens of Jupiter. So when our energy is of remembrance, of trusteeship, of very subtle nature, when there is no greed, I and mine, omens of Jupiter makes our Bandara full. And as you see it's becoming full, then generosity in the heart increases. And you want to share with that generosity. So buying food, cooking food, offering to Baba, serving everyone with love creates very, very good omens on us. Not only that, but deep feelings of that whatever I'm doing, I'm nimit, and I have to be humble, and I have to be selfless. So when Baba talked about four subjects in realization, power of realization, so whatever our belongings, so Baba uses two words, sadhan and sadhana. Sadhana means my tapasya, meditation, my faith. And sadhan means something which sustains uh, our body first. And then, of course, we go into other types of uh, comforts or facilities. Because they say there are three things in life important: shelter, food, and clothing, right? So Baba has given us, all of us, shelter, we get food, and definitely, as Baba said, simplicity in clothing also. Nor very cheap, nor very expensive. So in soul consciousness, connecting how deeply we are provided for sustenance, spiritually, physically, materially, by the nature. What will you do if there is no produce, right? So if there is drought somewhere, even if they create artificial rain, but how long? So taking care of whatever uh, we have as trustee, but remain free from attachment and greed. And also remember that uh, if world service can be done, I always say Brahmins can be fed. That's why I have a lot of bhavna for Brahma Bhojan. But also we have to eat with that thought, right? Not only one who has to cook, but also eat with that gratitude, with love, feeding your body. Eating also is feeding body, right? The way deities are fed, right? Feed body with love, with bhavana. Whatever you will give to body, it will stay healthy. So remember tan, dhan and an. It's a very, very deep philosophy, right? If you start understanding after belonging to Baba, how we have to create relationship with all these things with lot of love and bhavna, with free from attachment and greed. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good evening again. Today is Wednesday, and we are preparing for Thursday, Satguruvar Day, the day that we all Brahmins love, Satguru, right? Baba always talks about the omens of Jupiter, how it's on us, especially on Thursdays. We remember Baba as the Jupiter, the Lord of the tree, the one who provides. So it's very accurate that this is the topic for today. And as I was listening to Sister Mohini this evening, I was feeling that the whole world should listen to this. Everybody should get to listen to what you have shared today, Sister Mohini, because these are so fundamental, I think, to life, these principles that you have shared. I don't know about everybody, but I think I was getting goose pimples as I was listening to these deep concepts in such simple language. So we have understood about, you used to always think about tan, man, dhan, right? Baba always talks about tan, man, dhan. But today's combination is different. Tan, dhan, and an. All of them are made out of matter elements. And of course, we have talked about tan quite at depth before, and we have practiced also. And so today's practice is around anna, food, the elements that go into the body, the ones that we feed the body with. And many, many beautiful things. If you even remember this, I think tomorrow, the whole day, we can just get lost in just the beauty and the significance of this simple act of cooking and eating and feeding and serving, I think. So yes, there is the element of gratitude, honoring the elements. And as we were growing up as children, we performed all these rituals, and we didn't know much about why we are doing all of that. But now it's like, I want to go back and do those things, but with meaning, right? It just brings so much of significance to what is even bhakti is all about. So yes, value, respect, and therefore become a trustee of everything. Nothing is mine. As I was hearing this word value, I was talking to somebody from one of the countries that's going through a lot of, hardships right now. And just feeling, our fortune, how much we take for granted for what we get on the plate. And these countries, every meal is, is a question mark. They don't know what's going to happen the next meal. And so just, what you talked about today is that why is there so much of discrepancy? Why is there so much of imbalance? Yes, of course, nature produces enough, but then out of greed, out of our own attachment, possessiveness, things are what they are today. Everyone doesn't even get enough. So a lot of appreciation and value for what Baba is providing, what nature is providing, and what is in our fortune. So tomorrow we will be, of course, we're not going to earn tomorrow, we're not going to go fresh earn, but we know the philosophy of the money with which to buy the food, right? The consciousness with which to buy it also. So cooking with purity, pure feelings, bhavna, love in remembrance, offering to Baba, right? Very, very lovingly, serving with love. I thought this was also very interesting. It's an element, sometimes it gets missed out. Annapurna, they always say that there is enough, when you serve with bhavna, when you serve with love, how there's always enough for everyone. And we all know even the yagya stories of how when there was just a little bit food, but it was enough because Baba was serving or Mama was serving. So serving with love is very beautiful. Eating with gratitude, a lot of gratitude and value. So no ego, possessiveness about anything being mine. I have cooked this food and I make the best of the food. None of that, but it's Baba's talent, Baba's speciality that I have been able to do that. So it's lots of little, tidbits that Sister Mohini threw out, I think, for us to check ourselves, reflect on as we move around in the kitchen, cooking, preparing, offering. Everything is Baba's. And what I have to do is I have to increase my capacity to be a good trustee. I thought that was beautiful, right? I am a trustee. Everything is Baba's. But then let me also be a very, very good trustee day by day. I was remembering Dadi Janki, of course, the way she would, till the last, how she would be sitting there and sharing Toli, and the value of that little piece of Toli, is how can we even counter, say it in words. And I think Sudesh Didi recently talked about this little apple that would do service. One of the dadis, I don't remember who it was, but that little apple that was offered and cut into pieces and how many it would serve. So really, Baba really makes us so rich with so little, I feel. So tomorrow we are going to really have a good time with this aspect of, I think it's a deep dharana to our attitude to food and how we handle food, how we eat food and all that. And so Bhog, Bandara, from Baba's Bandara, everything is coming from there, nothing is mine. So if we can have that slide, it's a very beautiful practice. This concept actually came up in the Murli recently also. I, the living being of light, I'm incorporeal, egoless and viceless, seated on my lotus throne. I am under the omens of Jupiter. I cook, offer, and eat bhog in remembrance of Baba. This last sentence is very beautiful. This sacred act ties the thread of my entire life, soul and body, to the bestower of blessings. So I, the living being of light, I am incorporeal, egoless and viceless, seated on my lotus throne. I am under the omens of Jupiter. I cook, offer, and eat bhog in remembrance of Baba. This sacred act ties the thread of my entire life, soul and body, to the bestower of blessings. So I am blessed, the food is blessed, my life is blessed, everything becomes blessed with this practice of awareness around food. Yes. And bringing really Baba. And it's also one of the ways we make Baba real, in practical life. When we actually cook for him, offer to him, eat with him, and serve his family. I think it's really making Baba present in the family too. So it's a beautiful relationship that you can feel as you offer to Baba.
Because nature and God both are pleased and we get more and more blessings. No? Because it's being provided by nature. We are offering, to the body from the nature. So it's really, really deep feelings of receiving blessings and very deep inner joy and the well-being of soul and body. Okay, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to a Vyakti Journey, Family Time, Emerging the Fragrance of Sakar Days.
अच्छा मीठे मीठे रूहानी बच्चों पे माता पिता और बाप दादा का याद प्यार और गुड नाइट।
संगम युग में बाबा महिमा तुम्हारी गाऊं। Om Shanti. Thank you very much. And now we'll remember Baba. Take Drishti.
Shanti, and tomorrow is Baba's day, Thursday. So since morning, many of you will make bhog, offer bhog, So whole day we keep Baba Sadguru with us and the thought of uh, offering to Baba, but also gratitude. Keep receive blessings from Baba. Om Shanti and good night, everyone.